Do you enjoy Jackie Chan's movie? Moreover, do you enjoy the last few scenes where they show the scenes behind camera, how they are making the movie, how they are filming it, and where do they fail, and the kind of comedy and everything? Do you enjoy that? If yes, then this video is for you. Let me explain you in the context of language learning. People are focusing on the outcome, that is fluency and confidence, but they are not aware of what is going behind the scene, what goes inside the brain, how people are acquiring any language. When I was preparing for today's video, I did some research because I wanted to talk about facts, not just my opinion. So what I found there is a dedicated stream called linguistics. I hope I pronounce it correct. And under applied linguistics, there is a sub-discipline called second language acquisition, or SLA. So today's topic is dedicated upon this subject. I'm going to talk about the stages of language acquisition, and then what are the factors affecting it, comparison between first language and second language, and what we can learn from it. If you are someone who wants to acquire language magically overnight, so let me tell you, this video is not for you. Stay with me till the end of this video if you want to understand what is the science behind language learning, because this understanding is going to help you to accustom the failure and the challenges and the success of a language learner. After understanding these things, you will not say one person is smarter than you, because of that person is easily acquiring the second language, or they have the resources or some other kind of excuse. Instead, you will find out what is going behind with your journey, and you will try to find out the solution. So stay with me. So let's understand what is SLA, or second language acquisition. It's a term referring to a process or learning process where it is helping us to understand what it takes to become fluent in this another language, the second language, and what are the factors affecting it, what is the process, and how we can become a more efficient learner. In a simpler term, it's a scientific field focusing mainly on the second language learning and teaching. I hope you all are aware of the first language. When I am talking about the first language, it's nothing but the mother tongue. And when I am saying the mother tongue, it doesn't mean that it is coming only from your mother's side. It is the first language. Let me explain you in a simpler word. This is a language learned very early in our life, 0 to 4 years. So a kid is learning that language from the family, caregiver, or from the surrounding, from 0 to 4 years. After that, any language anybody is trying to acquire, that becomes the second language. And there are the people who wants to learn more than 2 languages. So it is up to their interest and objectives. So now I will take you a little deep into the subject, but I don't want you to sleep. So I'll just talk about a few hypotheses, and that is also in short. So the first hypothesis is critical period hypothesis. Researchers like Eric Lenberg and Penfield proposed that there might be a critical period during which it's easier to acquire native language, pronunciation and grammatical abilities in a second language. After this period, the language learning becomes more challenging. Simpler way, if a kid is exposed to the second language early in life, so they can acquire second language similarly the way they acquired the first language. And it is the chances are really high, 0 to 3 years. After that graph goes really down. I don't want to demotivate you if you are an adult learner, but that's what this hypothesis is telling us, but still it is debatable. The second hypothesis is input hypothesis. When we are saying input, it means that the kind of content they are exposed to, the comprehensive input, if it is slightly above than their current proficiency level, the learner naturally absorbs the language when they understand it. Interaction hypothesis emphasizes upon importance of interaction and conversational practice in language. It suggests that negotiation of the meaning during communication contributes to the language development. So more or less it's talking about the practice. If you'll practice more speaking, then you can become fluent in that particular language. There are many other research. If you are interested, you can go ahead and read it. Now let's understand what are the stages of language acquisition. Whether it's first language or second language, typically follows several stages of development. These stages are not rigid or universally fixed for all individuals, but this is a general framework. So what's the first stage? First stage is pre-linguistic stage. For the L1, this stage occurs from 0 to 12 months, where infants begin to develop a foundation of communication skill, including making sound, babbling, and responding to speech. In context of second language, this is the stage where an individual is exposed to the new language. So here basically listening and observing is happening. Now the second stage, that is babbling stage. For first language, here the kid is trying to speak something and they are trying to experiment with sound and the patterns. For the second language, they are trying to mimic and produce the simple sound or words in a new language. And what's the third stage? Third stage is holophrasic or one word stage. It's very small, it's very simple to understand. Here the kid is simply saying one word. For example, milk. It means that I want to have some milk. And for the second language, the learner in this stage might use basic vocabulary and single word to convey their needs or idea. Now we come to the fourth stage. Fourth stage is two-word stage. We can understand that thing. Now the fifth stage, telegraphic speech. At this stage, a kid is trying to make sentences. They are not older than 2 years, or they could be, but they are trying to make sentences, but that sentence is not necessarily grammatically correct. For example, daddy go. So daddy is go, instead of saying daddy is going, they just say daddy go. In context of second language learner, they try to construct basic sentences and try to convey the message, the meaning. The sixth stage is basic sentence structure. For the first language learner, now they are 3 years old or above, and they are trying to make more grammatically correct sentences. Now they are aware of verb, adjectives and noun, pronoun, those all things. And for the second language learner, they are also improving and they are also trying to make more complex structures, sentence structure, and mastering the grammar rules. The last stage, language expansion and fluency. For the first language learner, as the children grow, their vocabulary expand and they become more fluent in their first language. For the second language learner, the journey continues to expand vocabulary, improve fluency, and achieve higher level of language proficiency. So this is all about the stages. What you have to understand here is the language acquiring journey for the first language is much easier, effortless and natural among individuals, but when it comes for the second language, it depends upon many factors. SLA also include many other factors. In a nutshell, SLA seeks to answer questions about how people learn languages, why some individuals learn more easily than others, and how best they can learn and how fast they can learn. Now I'll try to summarize entire conversation and I'll give you certain suggestions that can help you. First of all, always remember that you are on path of second language acquisition. So there are so many factors. Don't give any time frame to your brain that you might take more time or less time. Just keep setting a smaller goal so that you can achieve those goals. A smaller success will keep motivate you and you will be consistent in your journey, and the consistency is the key in this path. It's a lifelong learning process. I also suggest that become an active listener. It's going to help you a lot. You must know that the kids are listening and repeating those sentences, those words. So what you can do, you can be an active listener and the reader, but don't read the self-help book at the starting. Instead of that, you must read the story books at starting. That will give you the sentence structure, and those easy sentences you can utilize in your day-to-day conversation. And initially aim for the conversational English. Don't try to become a newsreader or a storyteller at first. Instead of that, try to focus on conversational English. Plan your journey properly, follow a system and methods, and connect your learning to your daily life. It will be a fun learning for you, and you're going to enjoy it. Record your progress, keep looking for visible improvement rather than perfection, and keep this journey going on.